How long does it take to make good art? And more importantly, can you call yourself an artist yet? Hi, I'm Sarah Malka, and I am an artist. I've been doing art for over a decade. This is motion design, I'm drawing, sketching. I don't really work with paint, but that's just my preference. But something that is across the board with all of my mediums through all of my years of doing this is I still look at my art and say, huh, no, that's not good. And yet, most times it is actually really good. But why do I have these doubts? Why do any artists have these doubts? More likely than not, if you're watching this video, you have looked at your art and you are saying, that's not good enough. Why am I not good enough yet? Why am I not an artist yet? You are an artist. Your art is good. But how can you tell? Well, after years of making art, I've actually been able to come up with some ways that I've been able to objectively look and see if my art is good. Not only that, but how to step back so that I can see if my art is good. And I want to share this with you because you are a good artist and you should see it in your work. So why do you think your art isn't good enough? One of the reasons why you might be thinking your art isn't good is you've been staring at it too long. So stop, take a break, go do something else, or you can put it in the mirror, because I've also heard that works really, really well. I personally don't do that. I prefer taking the break and then coming back to it. Then take a look. And does it look different now? Usually if it's towards the end of the project, or even if you're in the process of sketching something, usually by that point you're able to be like, oh, okay, that looks good, or like, no, I need to fix that part. The other reason why you might be thinking your art isn't good enough is you are doing the number one thing that I am so guilty of. It's comparing. Please, 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 when you're just starting out, you can look to art for inspiration. Even when you're older and you're more experienced, you can look to other art for inspiration. But if you end up comparing your art to others, one, I've found that style-wise, it's very, very hard to be exactly like the artist you are inspiring. You can take the inspiration, but you're never going to be that artist. But you are your own artist and you are your own person, and you are creating something amazing in your own style. So please, please stop comparing yourself to other artists. It is probably the number one reason why you think your art isn't good enough, because you are setting yourself up to be like somebody who you aren't. Once you are able to be like, this is what my art is, it becomes a lot easier to be like, yes, this is good art. This is my art. And number three, the reason why you think that your art is not good enough, I'm looking down at my notes, I'm not ignoring you. The number three reason why you think that your art is not good enough goes back to beginners. You started your project yesterday at level 0 and you expect to be at level 100 the next day. You started painting with watercolors a month ago and you expect to be able to create masterpieces. Art is a long process, and every single day it's about getting better and doing something new and trying, figuring out new techniques. And it's something that amasses over time. So when you started drawing, or whichever medium you work in, most likely than not, you couldn't even draw a perfect circle. After you've drawn 100 circles, they're probably a lot smoother and a lot more circular. Let's just do the quick review of why you think your art isn't good enough. One, you are staring at it too long and you just need to take a break. Two, you're comparing yourself when you are creating your own unique art and you have to look at it that way. And three, you are thinking you have to be at level X when you've only just started. So please just give yourself a break. You are doing an amazing job. Your art is probably looking a lot better, and maybe it is a little bit better than what you were thinking. I don't know. This has worked for me in the past, so I'm just sharing this and hoping that it ends up working for you. But let me know if it does, because I'm very curious, and you can let me know in the comments. Now, how can you tell if your art is good enough? What are your measurements? What are your metrics? This is almost getting a little bit into that logic brain and less of that creative side. What can you do to tell that your art is better? The easiest way that I found is look at past pieces. If you're still a beginner, you can do this, but it won't be as obvious. This step really helped me just feel a lot better about my art and about how I am as an artist. And I'm talking about look back at your previous artwork. Easier if you've been doing art for a while, but even if you're a beginner, if you have that first piece you worked on, pull it out, take a look at it. Where are you now? What do you see as your art? Do you see that you are drawing easier, your lines are smoother, you figured out that tricky piece of animation, now you can do it in half the time. Taking a look at your past pieces, more likely than not, you are seeing the improvement over time. When you see that, can't you call yourself an artist if your pieces are even better than when you started? You're not a 2-year-old drawing squiggles. You are an artist who is able to draw actual things. You are able to create actual art. It's beautiful. You're doing an awesome job every single time you've done something. Therefore, part of looking back at the past pieces and even your current pieces is seeing where you can improve. And that's also a way that you call yourself an artist, because you're not just stopping drawing and being like, yeah, I've reached the pinnacle. No, you are a great artist just for wanting to improve every single time. I feel like I keep saying this, but I will keep saying it. You're a great artist, and I know you have doubts. And I know that it is very, very hard to overcome doubts when you are wondering, how on earth can I possibly be good at art when everything is around and I'm looking at my stuff and it looks terrible. Truth is, terrible. Your art is just in a different place, and your art is following your unique path. Don't try to be like everybody else. Your art is your art. And are you an artist? Yes, you are. Throughout my entire career and hobby, because this did start as a hobby, I've just really grown, and I can't believe where my art has gone. I do believe that if you keep working at it, you keep wanting to improve, and you're able to overcome these doubts of, is your art good enough? Are you an artist? You're going to see an amazing, amazing your art and where you end up. I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and say it because every single video on YouTube seems to end this way. If you like this video, subscribe, like, comment. Oh, and please watch this next video. I think you're going to like it.